Well, another week's worth of fall camp practices in the books. Some positions are solidified and have been for some time. Others still wide open. We'll explain in a bit. The offensive line gets equal time after we closed last week with the guys up front on the defensive side of the football. Plus, guys part of the last line of defense. And while Coach Sean Lewis continues preaching the mantra of the reward for doing good work is more work, he also takes a bit of time out to have some fun with his team after practice in the middle of the week. I'm Steve Perez. Welcome to Aztecs All In. We are all in on San Diego State University Aztec Athletics. And before we get into the football camp material, quick note off the top about the women's soccer team who went toe-to-toe on Wednesday night on the top deck against the number 10 team in the nation. The Washington Huskies were in the house, and the Aztecs came out on the short end of the stick, but wasn't by much. A single made penalty kick determined the outcome. 1-0 the final. Lady Aztecs 1-1 in this young season. It came in the 67th minute of an evenly matched contest. The Aztecs actually led the time of possession 52% to 48%. The game decided by the slightest of margins. Aztecs held Washington to the fewest goals allowed against the top 10 opponent since they topped number 10 Michigan 3-0 in 2014. Portland State up next, 3 p.m. on Sunday, August 23rd. Free admission. You get there early enough, get a free license plate frame. Can't make it? Check it out on the Pac-12 YouTube channel for all the action. On now to Aztecs football. Practices continue stacking for the fall. Players' mantra is +1. Get that much better every day. And Coach Lou pressing his charges to be consistently good, not occasionally great. He talked earlier in the week about following up after the open scrimmage at Snapdragon Stadium on Saturday. He noted the offensive production rose as the scrimmage went on, moved the ball, but took until the second half to get into the end zone. The team took a break on Sunday and then got right back at it on Monday morning. After the practice, he went hard on his team and used the phrase, "We stink." And we got to get better, he said, but he was smiling when he said it. We do got to get better, he says, with so many errors all over the place, which is to be expected. Focus and finish is the mantra going forward. As mentioned earlier, his message to the team: the work is the reward.
The guys, I thought, did a really nice job with that. Really want to stress as we move through this week, running as many plays in all three phases, as simple as this sounds, where all 11 Aztec Warriors are doing their job to the best of their ability, right? There was a lot on Saturday when you go back and you look at it. Again, to be expected, new guys, new spots where you got 9 out of 11, you got 10 out of 11, right? We need all 11 out of 11, otherwise the football guys are going to find those 1 or 2 guys that are doing it the wrong way. So just really dialing into the details, and now how many reps can we stack where all 11 guys are doing their job to the best of their ability, and they're straining and they're focusing and they're finishing each play, each drive, each period, each day as we continue to move through camp here.
All right, that's the stage of the camp the Aztecs are in right now. They are stacking clean days, cleaning up the details, treating every practice like it matters with the season opener still a couple of weeks away. Lewis keeps reminding his roster that the privilege is the work itself. Asked him to help preview the offensive line. It's such a key part of the game on offense. Unless you can keep defenders off of your quarterback, create some space for the playmakers to operate, the Aztecs' fast offense becomes a quick series of 3-and-outs. So here's what he said about why those big guys on the offensive line are so important.
The good Lord only made so many humans that are as big as the guys that we got, right? So you need to accumulate guys that are big, strong, that are dense individuals in a mass standpoint, because mass kicks ass, right? We want to dominate the line of scrimmage. But yet, in saying all that, you have to have a level of conditioning, and you have to have a mindset, and you have to have, some courage and some heart from the Wizard of Oz to push yourself and to go to a spot that's really uncomfortable. And we want to create a reality with our pace of play, and the demeanor that we develop at the line of scrimmage to really impose our will there, right?
All right, how about that last bit? You have the twin images of mass kicking ass, along with a bit of courage from the cowardly lion in The Wizard of Oz. A new wizard in town coaching the offensive line. He mentioned Bill O'Boyle. He started in the spring. Another former Lewis cohort from his Kent State days. They were together at Colorado in 2023. Back with Lewis after a season in the Big Ten at Northwestern, and decades of experience as a coach, brings more than 20 years as an offensive line coach and over 35 years total in the coaching game. Lewis has been clear that O'Boyle's belief in the system, combined with the foundation that Mike Schmidt left behind, is helping refine how this group attacks right where it matters most, the line of scrimmage. On the field, the left side currently features the two most experienced returners, senior tackle Joe Borjon and senior guard Kalen Ellis. Ellis missed a series in scrimmage with what coaches described as a simple tape issue on his foot. He was right back in, did a little time, and then watched the rest. A simple tape issue on his foot. That's the story. They're sticking to it. At center, junior transfer Isaac Lucas continues to grow into a position that he had never played before this spring. The right side remains a bit more fluid. Dennis Jones, Michael LaVille-Watkins, others still competing for final spots. The job itself, not a subtle one. These are the men who live in the noise, hand-fighting, leverage battles, the kind of sustained physicality that most fans only notice when it breaks down and a QB or ball carrier gets brought down for a loss. Wish to return to the comment we had in our last episode from defensive line coach David Losey about what's really going on up front in the battle for the line of scrimmage. It's about as descriptive as it gets.
There's a whole lot of grabbing, punching, kicking, screaming, biting, clawing, and everything. But it's the violent nature of the position. It's the violent nature of the game. We wouldn't have it any other way. Otherwise, we wouldn't be coaching the position or playing the position.
So the question I had for Joseph Borjon, all 6 foot 8 inches, 330 some odd pounds of him, just who is doing what to whom?
It's the trenches. I mean, you got to find a way to get your job done, whatever it takes. You got to tackle a guy. It's going to happen. Tackle a guy. Like I tell my little brother all the time, like coming up from just give effort. You're a motor guy. You're going to make stuff happen. Like finish blocks, you're going to make a hole happen. That's a bounce back for a chop or C-wash, who's going to be our faster guys, get out the hole. So it's going to be good.
Okay, might add he was nodding his head at every word attributed to the coach before he responded. When Joe was referring to his brother, he was talking about his little, that's little in air quotes, his little brother, Brian, a freshman still growing into the position, but he has a good start, 6'6", 275. While Joseph Borjon anchors the left side, embraces the physical reality of the trenches, the man in the middle has a different set of demands. In Sean Lewis Aztec fast offense, the center is more than just the player who puts the ball in the quarterback's hands. He's the one makes the calls, sets the protection, and has to be right every single snap. Isaac Lucas, junior transfer from Ball State, moved from guard to center this spring. He spent the summer and the fall camp absorbing that responsibility.
There's been a lot of hard work, transitioning from guard to center. It's not easy, but I feel like I've definitely picked up on a lot of things that have helped me in this, especially in this offense. And before that, I was playing a lot of guard, so just picking up like new steps and got an ID to front and all that at center is definitely a challenge, but I can definitely handle it. Yeah. Whatever they needed me to play, that's where I was going to play when I committed here. So I would say just learning how to snap and move at the same time, that's a big part of it. I've never snapped before until I got here, so that's definitely probably the hardest.
It's a position you have to appreciate, requires a unique combination of toughness, intelligence, and consistency. That's exactly what Coach O'Boyle has pointed to when he says the center has to be one of the toughest guys on the field in this system. In Coach Lewis' view, the offensive line sets the temperature for everything else. You get that group right, and the rest of the offense has a chance to play free. On to the receivers now. A discussion now about a key group of offensive skill players who also need to know how to throw a block or two, in addition to being fleet of foot and running clean routes. It's year 3 of Coach Sean Lewis' tenure at San Diego State. The passing game could be poised for a breakout season if the run game, led by Lucky Sutton, can get defenses back on their heels, and the offensive line can give quarterback Jaden Denigal the time and the throwing lanes to find him. 3 players who started last season are back. The group has been described internally as the deepest and most talented the program has assembled on paper. That depth is being tested and refined daily. Two of the key returners, junior Jordan Napier and senior Jacob Bostic, still having their workloads managed as they continue recovering from knee surgeries that ended their 2025 seasons early. Napier was the leading returning receiver, even with the injury, and remains the primary return specialist when healthy. Bostic held out of the recent scrimmage, but is counted on as a starter, and their senior Donovan Brown, a consistent presence a year ago. We met up with senior Nathan Acevedo and the new face in the receivers room, but not new to the Aztecs, Bert Emanuel Jr. He's reportedly the fastest player on the roster, presents a muscular physical target at 6'3", 235 pounds. Aztecs also have speedy Parker Threat coming off a redshirt freshman season in which he saw action on special teams, scored a rushing touchdown against Stony Brook. Local product Carson Deal, just out of La Jolla High, caught several balls in the scrimmage. He's just a freshman. And Justice Lowe transferred in from Oregon after dealing with an injury last September. There is real depth and skill in the room. We haven't mentioned many others. You hate to zero in, though, on that former quarterback, but Bert Emanuel Jr. did grab 4 balls for 49 yards in the scrimmage. He's got the pedigree. His father played 8 years in the NFL. And there's that verified foot speed. Hard to fool the GPS system.
I take a lot of pride in my speed, truth be told. If you ask some of the other receivers, they will always argue about who's the fastest. It's always going to be between me, Don, Jayhawk, probably Bostic with speed-wise. But I definitely say I'm the fastest. I ain't going to lie to you because the GPS, we all get GPSs on. Their time not beating my time. I'm not saying that every single day. So I definitely take a lot of pride in my speed.
You got the data to prove that.
Yes, sir, I do. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, what was the number? 23.2.
Yes, sir. I hit 23 miles per hour. Yeah.
The transition from quarterback has required patience on both sides, but he showed in the bowl game before the injury playing quarterback and then again in the scrimmage as a receiver that he is what the kids today call a baller. You put him wherever the team needs him, he'll get out there and try to make a play. Emanuel calls himself simply a football player first.
I feel like I'm a football guy, Wherever coach needs me, that's where I'm going to be. So that's just how I've been taking on the role. I've never been shy of contact, really. So it's kind of fun being out there, being able to be live in practice, take a hit. So I've always enjoyed that part of the game. So it's definitely a cool aspect that I get to be a part of now.
As a matter of fact, the day we talked, he had an abrasion on his left leg from a scramble for the ball in practice that would have had most people, including me, looking for a Band-Aid. Bert just shrugged it off as part of the game. He's also carrying knowledge gained from years in the quarterback meeting rooms, knowing where Jaden Denigal wants him and understanding catch points, and that has helped accelerate the learning curve. The two have remained close since arriving on campus together, and extra throwing sessions have only tightened that connection. Here's Nathan Acevedo talking about it.
We would throw Mondays, we would throw Wednesdays after practice, we would throw Saturdays after practice. We just had a lot of more time during the off season. Instead of when football's in, we would make time outside of football. So, you feel me? Get familiar with our speeds, how we run certain routes. So.
Acevedo says Denigal looks more confident this season after dealing with shoulder issues last year. New wide receivers coach Matthew Middleton, who previously worked with Lewis at Kent State and spent the last 3 seasons at Kansas State, has emphasized detailed visual teaching. Emanuel has responded to the patients and the film and walkthrough approach.
Been very patient with me learning the position. He takes his time out of the day to, whether we're watching like some little film, we come outside, do some walkthroughs, just anything. Like, he's an open book, and I'm ready to learn anything.
Meantime, the returning core framing the room's culture less as a cutthroat competition and more as shared responsibility.
I think it's more of like a brotherhood, not a competition. We're going to rotate. We have a lot of guys, a lot of places, so why, if I feel heavy, why can't somebody come back me up and we have the same amount of production as, just everybody fresh legs. I think out of all rooms, we got like the most returning in the position skills. I feel like we're able to help with the young guys because we have a lot of young guys who potentially going to play a lot. And just for us to be able to know the system and be able to provide to others, it makes it 2 times easier.
The group also being reminded that production is only part of the job. Blocking on the perimeter remains a point of pride.
like Coach Lou and Coach Mitt always say, we're the angels of the defense angels of the offense as outside receivers. We got to protect on the perimeter. So we take a lot of pride in that in our receiver room.
So as the calendar moves closer to the season opener, the message inside the receivers room stays consistent. Bring day one energy every day, stay connected, and play fast.
You got to bring that day one energy. We're in day 13 of camp, but if you feel like it's day 13, you're going to be dragging, you're going to be slow, you're going to be hurting, like we all hurting. But if one guy brings energy, it's contagious to everybody. And so if you keep bringing that day one energy, I bring it, you bring it, then it's going to spread to the rest of the team. So I feel like that's how we get +1 every single day.
I don't care who you are. If you can't get hyped up listening to Bert talk about the energy that he brings and the rest of the team seeks to emulate, then maybe a cup of coffee or two will help pep you up a little bit. Year 2 of this offense, the pieces in place. Now the standard is to make the depth and the talent show up when the lights come on. One of the more intriguing position groups on this year's San Diego State defense, the safeties room. It's a group that features a mix of experience, new arrivals, and more than a few young players still trying to carve out roles. The Aztecs lost significant production from last year's secondary, including starting safety Dale-Sean Staley. He suffered a torn ACL in the spring, and that is forcing an accelerated development cycle for a room that already carries a large number of bodies. That's fairly common in the 4-2-5 scheme. That keeps 5 DBs on the field as base personnel. Coach C.J. McGorisk has been clear about what the position demands in this system.
We're going to put the best 11 on the field, playing the 4-2-5 structure. We are playing with 5 DBs, obviously. Coach Selm's going to call different calls at different guys' skill sets when we put our best 11 out there. Corners generally better cover guys. Nickel's got to do a little bit of everything, and that free safety and that bullet safety. Got to run the show back there with our communication, and they got to be able to fit the run, play the pass as well. But we're going to ask all 5 of our DBs, corners, nickels, frees, bullets, all to fit the run when they need to fit the run, and then all to cover when they got to cover. You got to be able to do everything back there.
Among the players who have flashed early in camp, senior Josh Hunter, senior Josiah Cox, the local product out of Lincoln High School, junior Jelani McLaughlin, and Oregon transfer Solomon Davis. There's Max Garrison returning with experience, and behind them sits a group of younger developmental pieces, including redshirt freshmen and true freshmen such as Chase Shoemate, Kaimana Tufaga, Tainoa Lave, Raymir Henderson, and others, all competing for special teams work and depth snaps, maybe making the travel squad. One of the more interesting storylines in the room belongs to sophomore transfer Isaiah Green. He arrived from Portland State, made his presence felt with an interception return for a touchdown in that recent scrimmage at the snap. He has a unique personal angle heading into the season opener against his former team.
They told me, who we play first game, and I didn't really have a clue, and they were like, we play Portland State, and it's kind of like a little movie. I like to joke about that with the guys. It's kind of like a little movie script you think, like a transfer comes in, gets to play his own school first game. Getting the opportunity to go play against, my guys over there at Portland State and competing against them just on the opposite side, it's going to be fun, definitely getting to chirp at them, just make plays against them.
It's the kind of full circle moment that tends to sharpen a player's focus. In a room still sorting itself out, the coaching staff also emphasizing discipline after the whistle. Both McGorisk and Green were asked about the balance between playing aggressively and avoiding those unforced errors that come with personal foul flags thrown by the Zebras after big plays.
Coach Selm does a great job, and really everybody on the staff, right? Celebrate with your teammates. If you celebrate with your teammates, you're not going to fall into that issue, right? And that's the guys that you're doing the work with and the strength conditioning guys that you're out here in fall camp with. You turn around, you go celebrate with them. Those Zebras won't throw those personal fouls,
They tell us to control our emotions, whether it's a good play, whether it's a bad play, whether we make, interception, whether we give up, a big play. They try to tell us to, keep our composure and our emotions. Obviously, when you make a big play, you want to get hyped. You want to rile up, maybe the opponent, maybe with your brothers, but obviously you got to know the setting that you're in. So they tell us to be smart. Obviously, we don't want to get flags. Flags are never good. So just to be smart with whatever situation that you're in and, take that play and then the next play, wipe it off. You made a good play. Okay, cool. You made a bad play. Okay, cool. It's the next play now.
For a secondary that is younger and less experienced than a year ago, the emphasis remains the same. Stack the good days, communicate, play physical, stay smart enough to keep the chains moving in the right direction. The most unresolved position on the San Diego State roster right now sits on the special teams depth chart, place kicker. After the departure of Gabriel Placencia, the most accurate kicker in school history, no one to this point has clearly seized the job. Senior transfer Noah Cerna, Cooper DeLiva, Lane Garner, Tyler Prasoon, all still in the mix. Consistency from 40 yards plus and under pressure remains the measuring stick. Coach Zac Barton has been evaluating the group daily, continues to coach the position with the same direct approach he applies to the rest of the third phase.
Just consistency at this point. We need somebody to make the kicks we're capable of. They're all capable. They're all really talented kids. We just need to be more consistent and make the kicks they're capable of making. We're not asking them to make 50-plus yarders. We're asking them to make makeable field goals. There's 4 guys in the mix for this deal. Like, when I say that no one has clearly separated themselves, no one has clearly separated themselves. Nobody wants somebody to separate more than me, but nobody has broken away from the pack here, and that's the problem we're having. Everybody will have a good day, and then everybody will have a down day. We need somebody that's going to be consistently good, not occasionally great.
The punting game, by contrast, feels settled. Senior Tashi Dorjet won the job in the spring, has held it through camp. He replaces Hunter Green, inherits a program with a recent run of strong punters. Dorjet not treating that history as pressure.
I wouldn't see it as a challenge. I just think it's about me going out there and doing my best every single rep I have, because I know I'm well capable and I have all the talent, all the abilities to do it. Just putting it together and putting my team in the best place. I think that's one of my biggest things I've been trying to focus on, is just like the team. Like, what can I do to help the team? What can I do to put us in a better field position so the defense can go out and get a safety, so we can be in better field position, so I can get us out of bad field position. It's just doing the little things right, focusing on everybody else.
So he spent the offseason dialing in the small details, steps, ball placement on the hip, swinging through the ball rather than simply trying to hit it harder.
Like, when I'm backed up in a certain situation, I don't think, like, my first thing isn't like, kick the ball as hard as you can. It's being smooth with my steps and just kind of getting the ball to my spot and just swinging through the ball. I mean, it's the same for every place on the field.
Barton has been pleased with the separation Dorjet created and the team-first mindset that he brings. The long snapping picture also shifted this offseason after Luke Williams went down. Connor Polson stepped into the starting role and has earned the trust of both the specialists and the coaching staff.
He's doing a phenomenal job on the field, off the field, making sure he's right. I mean, obviously with Luke going down, it's an unfortunate tragedy, but Connor stepping into the role and producing at the level that we need him to. He's been doing great, and I'm just excited to have him show you guys what he can do this season.
In the return game, the staff operating with a 2-returner system. Nathan Acevedo has been getting primary looks on kickoffs while Javian Kennard and others compete on punts. Jordan Napier's availability still being managed carefully after that off-season work. The coaches know what he can do, and they're not going to overwork him during the week. Plus, they need him to catch some balls on offense.
Jalen Hawkins, and then Ace, obviously, is a kick returner. Nate Acevedo. Really trust him back there. He does a good job. You know what I mean? Really consistent. And then Chop Kinyard is a guy that can do it. Off returner, you've got a guy like Parker Threat. He's got some juice.
All right, so Dorjet has the punting job locked down. The long snapper settled. Returners have options. And now someone among the place kickers needs to rise up, seize that top spot. Now here's something everyone only joked about because it's one of those keep the players loose and cool type of affairs. We apparently had a water balloon fight after practice amongst the Aztecs. Now, those of us in the media were hanging around, and some of the players had beat it for the locker rooms before we had a chance to talk to them. And that apparently was rather than taking a hard water-contained piece of rubber somewhere they didn't want to as well. Supposedly, Sean Lewis cooked the idea up himself, asked around the coaches about who amongst the Aztecs threw the tougher water balloon, and they said all of them. But according to Bert Emanuel Jr., a guy you didn't want drawing down on you was Tano Latuli. The veteran linebacker brings it every play on the field, and that also apparently includes water balloons. He tosses around afterwards. A game's a game, and he goes for broke. A lot of fun, cooling bit, trying to also blow off some steam during a hot fall camp. And that will wrap up this edition of Aztecs All In. Don't forget, tell your Aztecs friends to give us a spin, subscribe, tell a few of their Aztecs friends wherever you check out your favorite podcast. Meantime, follow us on the X at Aztecs_all_in. And after you write your mom, because you know she's always happy to hear from you. Matter of fact, get on the phone, call her. We'd be happy to hear from you as well by way of our Gmail account. The address there, aztecsallin@gmail.com. Steve Perez here, thanking you for taking a few beats with us. We will return again soon.